Here is a short video of Sage 100, and I'm going to cover just two areas today. I'm going to cover accounts receivable and accounts payable, and in the side note, we'll probably have to look at some purchase orders because purchase orders are tightly integrated with the payables module. So let's just jump into AP. So let's pick this tab here. These are kind of the duties of an AP person. So I'm just going to go to enter an invoice. Pretty simple. It's probably basically it's like any other system. You got to have the invoice number from the client. I'm going to do this one later with the purchase order. I'm going to look up my vendor. I have a lot of ways to do that. I can do alphabetical. I can type in the first couple letters and hit an F4 key. I always use the same one because I'm just old dog, new tricks, I guess. So this happens to be for Home Depot. It's going to go to job number 6. And the description is concrete supplies. So as I go through this, I'm just hitting my enter key. It's got today's date, but let's say that the invoice was actually dated 2 days ago. I just hit my minus sign, and it's going to roll that date back 2 days for me. The due date is going to fill in based on what I set up in the vendor master. If there's a discount, in this case it's 10 days from invoice date, it knows that, fill that in. I'm going to put it in review. Actually, I'm just going to put this into open status. I just keep going through here, concrete supplies, and I'm just going to make it very simple. Lump sum 1, and then it's $1,525. It's going to go to my material account. At that point, I'm going to save this real quick. Hang on. And then I'm going to come up here to say cost, job cost, and then I want to charge that to that cost code. Actually, we'll change it to a concrete cost code. That cost code and that material count, and there's a 1525. I'm in balance with my total, so I save that. You'll see that this has warned me that these committed costs exceeds the budget, and what do I want to do about it? And so, you know, and I'm $142 over the tolerance that I've set in the default system. So it warns me. I'm going to save it anyway. I'm done. And so that is now in accounts payable. It's been job costed, and it's AP ready to be applied. I'm sorry, it's in accounts payable so I can write a check, and it's already been job costed. So that's done. Save that. Yes. Save this. Yes. Done here. Let me get out of here. Now, if I have a purchase order, I just want to go look at, make sure I have a good purchase order number here. So give me 1 second. Oops. So this is number 6666. Hang on. Memory's not as good as it used to be. 6666708. So there's a purchase order. So now if I come into accounts payable and I want to enter invoice, I'll enter in the client's invoice number, and in here I just put in the purchase order number. You'll see that it's warned me that their insurance is expired, and I'll say that's okay. Now you'll see that it knew what the vendor was, it knew what job I wanted to charge it to, and these are all of the items that were on the purchase order. There's quite a few, and so that's all already filled in for me. So at this point, if I look at the bottom right hand corner here, I'm showing that I owe $3,911 because that was the amount of the PO. But just to say that they didn't ship this item right here, that got shipped as a 0, and we'll make this one down here a 0 as well, that both of these items were back ordered. So you'll see now that this amount is changed down here in a corner. So if that equals to their invoice number, I just go ahead and save this record, and it'll be set up as in job cost as an expense and sit in accounts payable ready to write check. And the next time I get an invoice from them with this same PO, it'll bring up any items that were not shipped in their entirety when I got the first invoice. And so these two items will show up with their original quantities on the next time I enter that. So I'd move this to open, obviously not reviewed, and off I go. So that's accounts payable in a nutshell. Let me get out of here. I don't want to save this. And so that is now in accounts payable. So accounts payable is pretty good. If you're using the purchase orders, it really makes it simple to do that. And then we would select our invoices to pay. and then we would pay our vendors. And in Sage 100, I'm not sure a lot of companies are doing this today. We have the ability to pay by electronic payment rather than writing a check. So some vendors are requiring an ACH that they get paid, kind of like direct deposit for payroll. We handle that as well. And we do 1099s and everything else you need, and all kinds of aging reports as well. So there's that. Then accounts receivable. There's lots of things going on in accounts receivable. I have what I call just one-time billings, just one line item or two line items. It's not a progress pay. It's not a T&M bill. So we have that way of billing. We also have a full-blown T&M, time and material billing. So it'll have different markups for materials, different markups for labor, the ability to do that. I'm not going to enter one. I'm just going to print one. So give me 1 second. And you'll see within Sage 100, we never have one way of doing anything. So I'm just going to print this one here. So in this case, it's a bill for this owner, for this project. What it's done, or Sage 100 has done, is gone through and looked for every cost record for this job by cost code and has added it to this since the last time we built. Because when I do this bill, it will mark each one of these in the background as being billed, so it won't bill them again. So anything that's hit here, regardless of date, will show up on here. So here's all my material invoices and the amount. Here's all of my labor charges, the hours, and the dates. And I don't know how long this one is. Let's look. And there's the total. And there's your invoice total. So it's doing a markup right here in this column. You can have markup, a markup rate, an overhead rate, and a profit rate. Most of our clients just have one, but you could have 3 separate rates to mark it up. So that is time and material billings. And then we have what I call the AIA 702, 703. So let me just pull one of those up real quick. Actually, see if I find another one. Hang on a second. Whoops. It doesn't make a difference. So, yep. So this is fine. So here's, again, items that we agree to, values we agree to, change orders, if there are any, can be added to a specific line item, or each change order can be listed on the bottom. It's up to you. And then when I go to bill this, I just put in what I want to bill, or I put in the percent that I want to bill. Either way, it's going to manage the retention as well. The nice part here is, and I'm not going to do it, I'm just going to show it how it would work. Once I do this, you'll see that this is grayed out. So typically what we would do is we'd submit that application to the owner or the GC. I'd wait a couple of days typically. If I don't hear anything back, I would then post that application to the general ledger. So now it's in accounts receivable and revenue on the contract side. And once I do that, and now it's time for the next month, the bill, I hit this create next application, and literally what it'll do is it'll increment this application to number 2, change the date here by a month. It's going to take whatever's in the current column, add it to the previous, and then you'll have your new previous completed. So most companies are having to do that in Excel, and most of the time they screw up the formula somewhere along the line and bill's wrong. But this does it all for you, and there off you go. And so the nice part is that once it's all set up, it's just creating these things, and if you want to import the proposal or budget, this will fill in automatically too. So we really help you expedite getting things prepared by allowing you to import things and having to create your next application. And so to me, this is a no-brainer. And it does the 702, 703, which is going to be great too. So T&M, we also have recurring receivables. So if you're billing people the same thing every month, you can have those automatically generated. Most people don't use loan draws unless you're doing something directly for a bank. And then we also have unitary pricing if you're billing by the unit. So if you're going to bill by the piece, each foot of pipe costs this much and every square foot of paving costs this much, we actually can bill by units rather than percentages. So pretty straightforward. Easy to post cash receipts. The nice part, and especially if you're on QuickBooks, because we 70% or more than that actually come from, of our clients actually come from QuickBooks, probably closer to 80% actually. And so the nice part is, and when we convert their books over, we always see in their accounts receivable these nickels and pennies and 3 cent items, and it's like it's a mess. There's hundreds of them sometimes. But one of the great things about Sage is when I post these receivables and I'm posting the check, I come into here, obviously I put in the date that the check number, which is simple stuff. How much did they pay? So they paid $100, but they owed me $99.97, right? But so I'm off by 3 cents, right? Well, I can come over here and say, hey, they either overpaid or I'm going to give them a discount for that 3 cents. Then it wipes out that $100 receivable, even though they didn't pay the $100. So you have some tolerances there, obviously. But the nice part is we clean out that receivable. We don't have all these pennies and nickels and dimes to clean up at some point in time. We clean them up as we process the payment. So it does help a lot in that light. So anyway, that's pretty much AR and AP. Pretty straightforward. Last thing here, when I go to write, select the checks to pay or the invoices to pay, I can do specific vendors. I can do everything that I checked off. I can do by everything by a certain due date and discount date. I can only do job-related invoices. I can just do a specific job, sorted by job, sorted by vendor, sorted by vendor. So a lot of choices here for you to go by. And if I just go like this, again, it's now warned me again that these guys don't have insurance. And no different than any system. I want to pay this one, don't pay that, don't pay that, don't pay that. And on this one, I only want to pay $150. And so these are the amounts that are going to get set to pay. You print out a report for an authorized signer to approve, and then I come back and I print my checks. So pretty straightforward, most like any other system, but a lot of ways to filter and print the list. Anyway, thanks for listening. Need any other things? Go on, want another video, want a real demo, just let us know. My name is Dennis. I'm the CEO for CFO On The Go. We've been doing this for 14 years, have 1,700 clients, so we really do know this package inside and out. And don't say I said this, well, I've recorded it though. I've got 20 some odd consultants that know a lot more about it than I do. So once you get going, you'll be assigned a consultant that will really tweak this thing to work for your company. So anyway, need anything else? Give me a call, 800-659-5851. So 800-659-5851. Thanks a lot.